Good morning. Happy Monday. So one of my commenters, who is a silly little fella, I'm going to guess he's a boomer, very interested in his own takes on things, but his own takes are, my best bet would be, merely regurgitating mainstream media positions and whatever he saw on Facebook. Now, don't get me wrong, there's accurate information on Facebook, most likely. I don't have a Facebook account. But I'm seriously doubting, based on his responses, that he's doing any real intellectual inquiry, any digging into the underlying facts or anything like that, based on his regurgitated propaganda. Now, a lot of boomers like to say, well, what news sources do you trust? Well, I don't really trust any of them. And I certainly don't trust the New York Times, which I believe he cited, one of those major newspapers. Major newspaper, like anybody reads newspapers anymore. Anyway, the New York Times obviously was very wrong on things like the weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. They ran whole hog with that. Back in the day, I believed in that, But that's been debunked. The administration at the time, the Bush administration, pushed real hard for it, the yellow cake, that whole thing. And then it turns out that there was nothing there, and they didn't even attempt to try to prove it. And we know there was nothing there because Scott Ritter, who was a weapons inspector, confirmed it. And he had nothing to gain from confirming it, that there was no weapons of mass destruction. He had everything to gain. The administration wanted there to be weapons of mass destruction. That was their whole point. He put his essentially job, his career on the line by saying, no, there's nothing there. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that Scott Ritter is a reliable source of news by any stretch of the imagination. If you listen to his account of his not one but two arrests for, I think, soliciting a minor. He was arrested twice over it in the 2001 and 2009. The first time he got deferred adjudication. Essentially, he did some probation time, some pre trial probation. I don't know what the particular state called it. We'd call it deferred adjudication. Basically, if you do some probation conditions prior, to sentencing for a year or two, the judge will dismiss your case. So he did that on the first one. The second one he took to trial and he lost. And he'll still tell you stories about how nobody believes he actually did, and even the prison warden thought he didn't do it. So I'm not saying he's a trustworthy source on everything, but he had no reason to lie on the weapons of mass destruction thing. And the Bush administration essentially gave that up. They got their war, they won it, they didn't need to maintain the facade anymore, so it went away, right? I was digressing. Anyway, he said, and insert, soy jack face, what do you mean? Are you trying to say that the U.S. doesn't have the U.S. doesn't have a legitimate interest in protecting their bases in the Middle East? Which sounds good on paper, right? The U.S. has an interest. The U.S. public, the people, we have an interest in protecting our bases. But that presupposes two things. Number one, that our bases were in any danger prior to the attack in Iran. Again, when is the last time Iran started a war? When is the last time they offensively started a war? Iraq invaded them. The U.S. bombed them. When is the last time Iran started a war? My best understanding, it has been for at least the last 200 years. I don't know how long it's been since Iran started a war, but it's been a long ass time. So, were our bases under any threat? That's number one. Number two is, does the U.S. citizen, the average citizen, benefit from having these bases in the Middle East? My answer to that would be no. Now, it's really hard to tell how much these bases cost us because the Department of Defense has never successfully passed an audit. So we don't know how much they're spending, but like the AI will estimate it's, the Navy is about $15 million per day to maintain their bases there. And those are only, the Navy, $15 million a day to maintain their bases there. And that's just the Navy. We have air bases there. We have Army bases there. Who knows how much it is? The U.S. spends somewhere north of $90 billion a year. I know that sounds trivial considering we're like, $36 trillion in debt? I haven't looked at that in a while. It's too depressing. Maybe we're like at 38 by now. So maybe $90 billion a year doesn't sound that much, but boy howdy, what could $90 billion a year spent at home do if we're just going to spend it instead of, I don't know, not spending it? Maybe paying down our debt? Silly me. So it's incredibly expensive to have over there. And as this war has beautifully illustrated, those bases aren't an asset even at time of war. They are a detriment. We can't use those bases right now. Every single base is being bombed to shit. Our Navy has to stay about 1,000 kilometers, 750 to 1,000 kilometers away from Iran to be safe from the missiles that apparently aren't a threat to us, and yet we stay about 1,000 kilometers away. So the naval bases are pure useless. How many planes have we lost on the ground due to missile strikes from Iran? We lost that AWACS plane. We lost several tankers. I mean, those bases are a liability. Now, while we're in the middle of fighting, sure, some of the bases are being used, but we're not gaining anything from fighting. So there is literally no benefit to the U.S. from having the bases, from, in air quotes, protecting the bases, because we can't and we're not, and maintaining the bases, like keeping them functional during this. So I reject the premise entirely. No, there is no benefit at all. Another comment, and this is the last one, I'm not going to make this a super long video, said, you're just a coward. Well, I mean, maybe, but that's not relevant to any points. I'm too old to be called up to active duty. My time in the draft is done, even with an expanded draft up to age 42 or something like that, if they do it. I'm out of that range. That time has long gone. And my kids are too young, obviously, to serve. I mean, you can see a car seat back there. I don't think they're calling up kids out of car seats. So, my cowardice or whatever is irrelevant. And bravery doesn't equal wisdom. Bravery and wisdom aren't necessarily the same thing. You could be foolish and brave, or you could be wise and brave. So I reject that premise also. Finally, Trump issued another statement via Truth Social. Someone should really take away his ability to post, because he is doing nobody any good by posting on Truth Social. He's not informing the American public. He's just using it as a venting platform, essentially. But he said basically that he's going to completely eliminate Iran to the point where it'll never be rebuilt. What does that mean? Is he threatening a nuclear strike or multiple nuclear strikes on Iran? Or is it just merely a pattern of escalating the threats that he's been doing? First it was, we're going to completely destroy your defenses. Then it was, we're going to destroy your power stations and bridges. And now we're going to completely eradicate you? What does that mean? I still don't think he's crazy. It's a rational response. It's not a smart response, but it's a rational response. You're not getting what you want. Escalate the demands or escalate the threats. I mean, it's completely rational. I can see how people think that he's crazy, but crazy would be, attacking Russia out of the blue for no reason. Or attacking China out of the blue for no reason. That'd be crazy. I mean, that would be getting us in way over our heads. with a known nuclear power. That would be crazy. He's not crazy. He's just really incompetent. Anyway, that's all I got for you today. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.